This is the Funhang Electric Bike, a 26-inch fat tire electric bicycle that caught my eye because of its bold blue color, thick tires, and just how sturdy it looks right out of the box. I spend a lot of time fishing around local parks and usually need something reliable to carry my gear, power through muddy or bumpy trails, and not leave me exhausted before I even get to the water. I'll give you my honest take after putting this bike through its paces, including what stood out to me and what I wish could be better. Consider this a quick review from someone who's coming at this less like a hardcore biker and more someone who likes the outdoors and needs a practical, tough ride. Right off the bat, the design stands out. The classic mountain bike frame with a step-through style, chunky 26-inch fat tires, and a big front fork for suspension. The blue paint is sharp, and it just looks fun next to the usual boring bikes. What really matters for me, though, is how practical it feels to use. The frame's made from carbon steel, giving it that hefty, reassuring strength, but it doesn't feel overwhelming or awkward to move around at about 68 pounds. The combo of wide tires, fenders, a rear rack, and front suspension tells you this thing's built for people who want to take their bike more places. City streets, trails, even a little off-road on dirt or gravel. One detail I didn't expect was the LCD display, which is big enough for quick glances mid-ride, so you always know your speed, battery level, and which riding mode you're using. There's also a pretty loud electric horn right below the display, which you'll definitely hear, along with front and back lights, and even turn signals, which is actually a first for me on a bike. The seat is height adjustable, which came in handy since I'm relatively tall and sometimes ride in boots when I'm heading to fish. The rear rack is solid, and I'm already planning to DIY a polycarbonate platform so I can mount a milk crate for my tackle box or fishing gear. That's the sort of thing people don't mention enough. How easily you can actually make this bike your own, especially when you have outdoor hobbies. From my experience riding the Funhang, setting it up was pretty understandable. Most of the heavy lifting was done ahead of time, but I did have to mount the handlebars, pedals, and one of the fenders myself. As someone who's had trouble with complicated toolkits before, I was happy to find all the wrenches and Allen keys you need included, tucked in with the user manual. The battery was about half charged when it arrived, which actually got me through a few test rides without recharging right away. Riding itself is where things got interesting. If you haven't used an electric bike before, here's a quick explanation. You can ride this like a regular pedal bike, but also have both pedal assist, where the bike helps power your pedaling depending on the level you choose, up to 5, or you can use the throttle to cruise along without pedaling at all. There are also cruise and booster modes, which are handy if you want to hold a constant speed or push the bike with you when you're walking up a tough hill. That's honestly useful, because sometimes even just getting to the fishing pier or the back end of a state park can be a chore. I used to use old scooters, but they died on me pretty quickly, and my regular bikes were just exhausting. This was a huge upgrade. On all the trails I tested, including gravel, mud, and some decently steep hills, I found the big fat tires give amazing stability. No sliding around, even in divots or after rain. I'd say the 1000W peak motor genuinely gives you a kick when you need it, especially when climbing. I topped out at around 21-22 miles per hour without even unlocking the speed limiter. When you push it or unlock the max, you can hit up to 25 miles per hour according to the manual and my own GPS. On hills, with just throttle and a tiny bit of pedal assist, I could keep up 12 to 15 miles per hour without breaking a sweat, which honestly made me feel like I was cheating after years of huffing and puffing uphill. Taking it slow or just using pedal assist kept battery life high. I easily got 3 hours on rough trails with plenty of throttle use, and the display said I was still at half charge. The suspension fork up front is a huge bonus. I kept it locked for flat paths, but flipped it open when things got bumpy. It absorbs a lot of the rattling, so you're not sore by the end of a long ride. The included mudguards did a good job blocking most of the splashes. I had to install the rear one myself, but it really made a difference on muddy days. Both brakes are powerful, thanks to the dual disc system, so stopping is predictable even coming down a wet hill. There's also a 7-speed Shimano shifter, which felt smooth with just the right amount of clickiness. But I did need to tweak the brake positions, since the fat tire frame puts things a bit wider than I'm used to. I should point out, if you're wearing cleated boots or anything with a rough sole, the stock pedals might get chewed up fast. I'd recommend swapping them for metal ones if you're going to be rough on your gear. A big deal for anyone nervous about leaving their bike out. This comes with a removable 48-volt 13Ah battery with lock and key. Charge it in your garage, or just take it inside to top up at work. The battery clicks out pretty easily, yet locks securely, so I never worried about someone snatching it. There's also a keyed ignition, so even if you stash the bike in the woods while you're off fishing, it's not starting up without the keys. Now, some pain points and things to consider. While most of the assembly was straightforward, I feel like the instructions could be a bit better for someone totally new to bikes or tools. If you can handle basic wrenches, you'll be fine. My front wheel was slightly out of the box. Nothing major, but I took it to a local shop to get it sorted. During my first longer ride, I did run into the chain skipping on the highest gears under load, which can be annoying if you're climbing a hill and need that gear to stick. If you're unsure about adjusting it yourself, it's worth letting a professional look at the derailleur just to fine-tune it. The battery, while advertised at 55 to 60 miles on maximum pedal assist, will drop to closer to 28 to 30 miles if you use throttle a lot or ride on hills with a heavier load. For me, carrying fishing gear, cooler, and sometimes extra boots, I saw this lower end of the range. Not bad at all, but something to keep in mind if you're planning huge day-long excursions off-grid. As for the price, it's on the higher side, especially compared to some no-name fat-tire e-bikes, but I wanted reliability and customer service. And here you actually get a 12-month warranty as well as real tech support. To wrap this up, in my opinion, the Funhang Electric Bike is perfect for anyone who wants a do-it-all bike for commutes, errands, weekend trips, or reaching outdoor spots that are just too much of a hassle on foot or on an old-school bicycle. From my experience, the power, stability, and flexibility it brings to rough trails or paved paths is way above what I expected. The removable battery, solid build, and thoughtful features like turn signals, strong lights, and a beefy rear rack mean you can make this bike your own without tons of hassle. I'd recommend this for anyone who loves being outside, doesn't want to deal with burning out before you even start your main activity, and wants a bike that just works day in and day out. It's not perfect. Assembly takes a bit of patience, and a quick tune-up helps, but it really feels like a solid investment for your next adventure or daily grind around town. That's my quick review and everything I found important about the Funhang Electric Bike. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below if you have any questions or want to share your own experiences with e-bikes. Thank you for watching.